Hello Wonderland, Kelly here. This morning I have come to the Appomattox River Trail, about half an hour from home. This is kind of one of those, let's just get out there and see what we can see kind of days. So that's the plan. So yeah, we're in the second half of June. Summer is upon us, and we're actually headed into a stretch this week of ridiculously hot temperatures. I guess a high pressure system is setting up over us to keep things dry and exceptionally hot. Looking at highs around 101 Fahrenheit, which is like 38 Celsius for my friends across the pond. And I don't do that kind of heat anymore, so I'll be staying inside. But today is only like 96, 95, somewhere around there for the high. So I thought I better take advantage this morning and get out somewhere and see what I could find. So that's the plan. Looking for landscapes, looking for wildlife, looking for whatever. Normally when I come to the Appomattox River, it's the John Radcliffe Conservation Area, which is a favorite spot of mine. But at that park, we take a trail down to a dam, and the dam is fun. But if you were able to walk all the way across the dam, which you can't, you would end up at the trail I'm on now. So I'm kind of approaching Radcliffe from the other direction, or approaching that dam from the other direction. And I know the dam is usually pretty active for wildlife and stuff, so that'll be good. But on the way, going along the Appomattox River here, there should be some good scenery and such. Like this spot right here that I have happened to come upon. I like rocks. I like rivers. I like rapids. Might be something to be done here, apart from the garbage. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, snap a few shots here and then we continue. Really, since that DC trip, haven't been getting out much lately. Been busy working on cars, and I'm kind of our family mechanic. And we're up to 4 cars these days because America. Yeah, so it's nice to be out. It's been a little while. This is nice too. It's a good view, but I can't get out there with the water. This is a very rocky river, which is nice. It's really scenic. I'm hearing a lot of birds. There's a great blue heron flying over there. Hearing a wren, which is not that exciting, but also a prothonotary warbler. You know I love those. And I'm traveling fairly light gear-wise today. I've got the R5 Mark II with the 24-105 right now. I've got the 100-500 in case I do see some wildlife, and the 85 macro in case I see some macro subjects, and the drone, which hopefully I'll pull out at some point. And that's really it. Okay, onward. Nice. Huh. It's beautiful out here. So far, I must say, this is turning out to be mostly a macro expedition, which I haven't done much of for quite a while. So I'm enjoying that. Lots of bugs out presenting themselves, and flowers, of course. The sun is very bright. But this is nice. This is obviously not a very highly trafficked part of this trail. There are other parts that kind of run through more urban areas. Not that there's any big cities in this part of the state, but yeah, they get more traffic, and they're actually paved for bikes and fishermen. That's muddy. Yummy. Hop that one. All right. Whew. I am already starting to get sweaty. It's muggy and warm, but mostly muggy. I should check my map. I have no idea how close I am to the dam, or even how long this stretch of trail is. I should have done more research, but it's okay. I'm having fun. Here's a nice cliffy bit. The trail going over here. This is good. I've wanted to get to the mountains lately. This is not, but it's a similar feel. Lots of rocks. I must say, this trail is often not much of a trail. Definitely not maintained, and not many people come this way. Hope there's no monsters. That's better. Nice view. Now over there, if you're seeing that stone wall, that's a dam, I guess, but not the dam that I usually see at Radcliffe. After checking my map, still got a little ways to go till that. So that's kind of fun. There's multiple dams, apparently. In DC, I was talking with my friend about photography and how that kind of became my thing. And how do I articulate it? I said, it's not like I feel I have any particular talent. Guess it comes fairly naturally, but I think more importantly, you know that thing, that trope about how it takes 10,000 hours of intentional practice, as a vine grabs me, to become good at something, or proficient, truly proficient. I'm probably there with photography, but I think the real benefit of experience, trying to figure out where the trail goes here. It's not that I think I'm a great photographer or anything, even though I have a YouTube channel, small one. But anyway, it's more that after taking pictures and looking at pictures for 20-something years, you just get to know what works and what doesn't, you know? And ideally, you know the reasons why things work and don't work. There's a neat fungus down there I'll have to shoot. But yeah, it's just a matter of taking a picture, well, looking at a scene and knowing what'll make a decent picture, for one thing. But then taking the picture and hopefully turning it into something that works. Does that make sense? So yeah, if you're wherever you are on your photographic journey, I guess my advice in this respect would be just keep at it, keep taking pictures, keep looking at pictures. As you take pictures and look at pictures, think about what works and what doesn't. If a picture strikes you and you're like, that's a good picture, think about why, you know? Is it the composition, subject, obviously, the lighting, the textures, the sharpness? Because a lot of times when I'm on social media, like Facebook, somebody will post a picture and they're like, the comments are like, what a great picture. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, not really. And maybe it was a great moment. Maybe it was a beautiful subject or scene that would make a great picture. But there's something about the picture that's not quite there. And it's experience that lets you get to that point of knowing, hopefully, what that je ne sais quoi is. And then putting it into your own photos, hopefully. Yeah, I'm rambling. I'm gonna shoot this fungus. Little toady here. He's being very cooperative. And without really thinking about it, I just did a little comparison. So I had the 24-105 on the camera, and I shot him with that at 105 and minimum focus distance. And I wasn't really liking what I was seeing in the the screen review, because that's not really a macro lens, obviously. It's not terrible, but it's not designed to be macro. So I swapped to the 85 macro, and I'll show you some side-by-sides. I did some wider apertures because I could. And then I did f4 as a comparison because I was wide open on the 24-105. So we'll see what that looks like. And I think I'm getting closer to the dam. I hear some water running up ahead, and that's good. Get to a turnaround point. I haven't even put on the 100-500 yet. I think I'll put that on for the trip back and try to get some birds here and there, hopefully. So I hear them. I've seen some, but I haven't been equipped to shoot them in the face. We'll rectify that. All right, onward. Okay, so that trail took me to a little scramble up a hillside and onto this trail, which looks much more official and maintained. So maybe I was just kind of on the unofficial trail. All right, I still hear the river, still hear the dam, pretty sure. I think I'll take this trail and get me back in the frame. I think I'll take this trail back. It'll be faster, and I'll be hungry. You know how that goes. This stretch is neat. It's very cliffy over across this canal. So the river is to my right. The canal is to my left going this way. And I want to say, you know, in the days before trains and all, one way to transport goods was barges on canals towed by mules and such on towpaths. And I feel like this is a towpath for that canal that I'm walking on. Kind of neat. But I'm coming up to the end of this part of the trail, which is also the dam for Radcliffe. So let's see what's up here. Well, there's some birds around too. Yeah, I think up here at the dam, near the dam, I will switch to my 100 to 500 and kind of leave that on for the ride, the journey back. So there should be some birds and stuff. Yeah, this is like a lock to control the level of the canal. So I bet I'm right about the dam thing. Oh, there's a skink up there. Oh, nice. Okay, all right. So I feel like this is the other end of the dam. Yeah, okay. I'll venture out there a bit to see what there is to see. Here we are at the end of this part of the dam. I've seen some neat stuff on the dam area. Some skinks, swallows are around. Right there's one. Saw a kingfisher, which I enjoy. All right, I think I'll set up shop here a little bit, see what we can find. All right, tried shooting the swallows a bit. They are too fast. I am not on my swallow game today. Might have got one shot. Now I'm gonna head out to this little promontory. See if I can spot anything out there. And then I'll start heading back. Stuff like this lock machinery can make for some interesting images. Especially if it's outside like this and juxtaposed with things like flowers. So I spent a few minutes here getting some stuff. I'll show you that. Okay, leaving the dam, setting off down the trail back to the car. I'm gonna stick to this main trail, which is why that first part of the trail was not much of a trail. It was not the main trail. Okay, got the 100 to 500 mounted. Just kind of gonna listen and look for birds. Any good distant macro subjects, or there's been some turtles in the river that tend to plop into the water from whatever log or stone they're on when they see anybody. But maybe from a distance I can shoot one of them. So Gonna pick up the pace a little bit because I am getting hungry and hot and sweaty. Yeah, okay. Since I've used it a fair bit today, we'll talk a little bit about the Canon RF 85mm. Still never done a thorough video on it. I probably won't, but I will say again, I like it. I like it a lot. For its size, weight, cost, it's a fine lens. And I have the 100mm macro. I love it. Very sharp, does 1.4 times magnification, which is nice. And obviously being an L lens, sharpness, optical quality, all that good stuff. Never touched the spherical aberration control. Should play with that sometime, but if it's a macro lens, I want sharpness, and that just seems to sacrifice the sharpness for effect. I don't know. Anyway, ramble. But the 100mm only goes to f2.8, and the 85 is an f2. So just using it fairly wide open. I don't know if I did f2 today, but I did some f2.2. I want to get those back home and see how they look in terms of chromatic aberrations and fringing and whatnot. But in the review screen, looks pretty good. And I like the shallow depth of field, of course. So yeah, size and weight for hiking, I don't think you can beat that lens. And I'll show you some results, of course, on that little comparison I did on the Toad with the 24-105. So maybe this is the most in-depth 85mm RF f2 macro IS STM lens review you're gonna get. Okay, kind of booking it down the trail. Not seeing or hearing too much, and that's okay, because again, I'm hungry, hot. Said that before. I won't say it again. All right, down the trail we go, along the canal towpath, probably. Catch you down the path a bit. While I'm walking, I am pre-thinking about editing this video. And you may notice, sometimes I put EXIF information on the images in my videos. More often I don't. And really, the main reason I don't is because it's kind of a pain, but the reason I do is if I'm talking about the gear, you know, and it's irrelevant what I'm using. Usually, if I'm just out and about, I usually tell you what gear I'm packing. Try to do that. And, you know, if you ever want to know what a particular image was shot with or what settings, feel free to reach out. But if I'm actually talking about the gear, like the 85mm, then the EXIF information becomes more relevant. So I'm sure on this video, I'll throw it in, at least on the 85mm images. Maybe not the rest. We'll see. But yes, there's a glimpse behind the curtain. Sort of. Blessed shade. All right, getting back towards the car. There I am. Yeah, I see the bridge up ahead. Really not much on the way back. Snapped a shot or two here and there, but yeah, mostly I was just ready to get back to the car. Get to some air conditioning. I dare say this wasn't too interesting an excursion, but hopefully enjoyable enough. Always nice to be out. Somebody gave me a good idea for an editing video, so I think I'll do that next, in this next stretch where it's too hot to do anything outside. And until then, hope you're doing well wherever you are. Be good to yourself. Take care of each other. Don't forget to be awesome. Get out and wander. Later.